Hi everyone, welcome to a Sip and Spin Spindle Spotlight. Today's spindle is two different styles of Peruvian Chac-Chac. I first fell in love with these spindles. Sweetie, can you just lay down? That'd be great, thank you. Good girl. I first fell in love with this particular style of spindle watching Abby Francomont spin and following her, and I'll put her info, YouTube channel, and website down in the description as well. But living in Peru, this is a hand-carved Peruvian Chac-Chac spindle, and what makes these so unique is this captured ring. And to be able to carve this with the captured ring, to me, is just mind-blowing. And this is from Abby's website, and it is one of the hand-carved spindles that she had on her site. And I was a little bit concerned because of its simplicity and the fact I wanted to try spinning alpaca with it. And while alpaca doesn't quite hit the same level of nemesis fiber that cotton does, alpaca has its own challenges. So this is some Surrey alpaca top from Alpaca Pines, and I'll put the Alpaca Pines website in the description as well. But it is a very silky, soft fiber that really likes to stick together. So finding that drafting point, as you can see when I pulled it out, it's kind of a little bit of a challenge. Usually when I spin this, I do spin back and forth across the top, which in a lot of cases I have split it, and I've suggested you don't do that. So today I will actually be spinning back and forth. I have two styles. One is from Peru, hand carved. The other, this is turned. This is from Straddle Creek Spins. And I'm going to get started on this one because these are a little bit easier to obtain. This is a top whirl style of spindle, but like with most spindles, interestingly enough, the hook, the way this hook is rounded, it will also double quite nicely as a bottom whirl. So again, if you're looking to transition between a drop spindle and a support style just because you're curious, take a look at the spindles that you have in your collection right now. You might be surprised. You might find that you have a top whirl spindle that will double as a support spindle quite nicely. So I am going to demonstrate both on this particular style of spindle. I will get started. Now the nice thing with having the hook up here, I can just grab this little bit of fiber and start spinning. And because alpaca wants to stick together, I actually have a lot of opportunity to work on drafting, and it's very forgiving. And hopefully you can hear the Chac-Chac on this. So I'm going to get the leader started this way. Wind on, and then I'm going to flip it. Flip it over. And as you can see, when I am spinning this supported, I'm using my ring finger and my little finger to support the shaft. And that is what is, actually just my ring finger. I'm using my ring finger sort of as a gate to keep the spindle from going anywhere, and that's what's giving me the time to use my fingers, a little bit like pinchers, to stop the twist from traveling and to unroll and to move out. So as I get started spinning it, draft some out. Like so. And then wind on. So this is a Straddle Creek. It was designed to be a top whirl suspended spindle, but it has the benefit of being able to be flipped over and used as a bottom weighted support spindle. And in both cases, you can hear that captured ring clicking as you spin, which I find very, very soothing. Now, this is going to be the first time that I have ever used a leader to get started. And that is because when you look at this traditional hand-carved Peruvian Chac-Chac, it doesn't have anything up at the top. And so getting these started is just a little bit more of a challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and use the leader that I created on the Straddle Creek. All right, so to connect, I'm going to do a join just like I normally would with any fiber. It doesn't matter if it's wool, cotton, or alpaca. I will open that up. You always want to make sure when you're connecting your fibers that your new fiber is going to work its way into the twist with whatever your join is. Otherwise, it will simply pull apart, and you don't want that to happen. So as I get started, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to pop the little half hitch on there. And hopefully we'll get the Chac-Chac. I'm not sure if we'll be able to hear this as I spin. Oh, there it is, a little bit. So slide this off. I'm going to go ahead and break this down just a little bit to make it easier to show because I'm going to go long. So the wonderful thing about this particular style is it has this incredibly long shaft. Even though the whirl is relatively small, I'm going to be able to build this cup up to hold a huge, huge, huge amount of fiber. So whoever says that spindles don't hold as much as spinning wheels, I think it all depends on the style of spindle that you're using. And even though this, and the other thing that I really want to point out, there's nothing modern up at the tip of this. There's no hook, there's no indent. This is just a carved shaft, and it holds, and I actually really like it. It holds the half hitch perfectly. The half hitch doesn't slip, and it's so easy to get off. I like doing half hitches on styles like this so much more because it's effortless getting the hitch off and getting it restarted. So as I start spinning, it's kind of funny. This spindle is so, even though it's shifting a little bit, that's because of me. But if I just give it a normal spin, the spindle maker made this so incredibly balanced that the ring, the captured ring, isn't rattling, which Chac-Chac means rattle. It's not rattling as much because it is such a balanced spindle, which just makes it that much more beautiful. And so, when I wind on, you can hear it rattle. And one of the reasons why I wanted to showcase this particular style of spindle is because I think it's important to understand that a simple tool can produce the yarn that you want. It can produce absolutely beautiful yarn. So I'll do a quick ply back on this one. This spindle as well is also good for plying, and the shaft will make it beautiful for plying back, or for plying in general, because it's going to hold that. So that's what this yarn will look like, and it's so beautifully consistent. So very simple tool. This is Surrey alpaca. And this is Peruvian Chac-Chac. Two styles of Peruvian Chac-Chac. So if you've not played with this particular style before, I would highly encourage that you check it out. They're a lot of fun. I like listening to the rattle as I spin. And I wanted to showcase two different sizes. So of course this size is certainly not going to hold nearly as much yarn as the larger one. But with a tool, just a simple tool like this, I could spin my singles and ply. So one tool to get the first single and then the plied ball, which it's really all you need in order to create absolutely amazing yarn. Thank you so much for checking in for today's Spindle Spotlight. If you have any suggestions, or if you'd like to see a particular tool, style, or technique, please let me know down in the comments. I look forward to my next Spindle Spotlight. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Happy spinning.